Good afternoon. I hope you are all having a wonderful day today. I am back this week with some wonderful recipes in the Thermomix. You may be surprised by what I'm going to suggest we're going to make today, because usually you can find it in a tin on the shelf at the shopping center, and I would love to encourage you to try this recipe, because just watch along and see how simple it is to be able to create your own. This recipe is condensed milk or sweetened condensed milk if you're looking for it on the Cookidoo app, and it is very easy to make, and there are only a couple of ingredients that you'll perhaps have in your pantry and in your fridge that if perhaps you're making a recipe and you realize you don't have any sweetened condensed milk, you can make your own. So let's get started today with this recipe. I will be making another recipe later this week using this ingredient, so I thought it would be best to show you how simple it is to make this from scratch. So have a look on your Cookidoo app, call that up on your machine, and the first thing it asks you to do in order to preserve the condensed milk is to actually process your container that you will be utilizing, and that will allow your finished result to remain in the fridge for 2 weeks. So it asks you to sterilize your jars. Go ahead and do that beforehand. So I will be doing a separate video showing you exactly how to do that, but I'm going to skip over that part. It says set aside your sterilized jars, and then add in 40 grams of your butter. So what I did, I went ahead and I just snuck it inside my measuring cup, so I didn't have to get out a bowl. Lovely way of not having to clean an extra bowl, just use your measuring cup. So 40 grams of that, and then pour in 125 grams worth of water. Go. So half a cup, and then what this will need to have done to it is heat it up. So for 3 minutes on 120 degrees Celsius and speed number 2, you'll actually be able to heat up the butter, melt the butter, and obviously the water as well. Now there are a couple of other ingredients as well to add to this. I did want to include on the recipe, there is actually an indication. So I am using my TM6. If you have a TM31, which is the manual version of the machine, I'll just get into the recipe detail and give you this step according to your TM31. So let me just scroll on down, and in the recipe it actually says that for a TM31 owner, you can do exactly the same thing by processing this for 3 minutes on Varoma. So it's your maximum that you will be able, your maximum temperature you'll be able to use, and then obviously speed number 2. So I'm just going to hop on over back to that, and just let you know then the rest of the ingredients are very, very basic. It is your raw sugar, or if you have white sugar, it's 180 grams worth of that. And then also it is going to be your instant milk powder. So it's 110 grams of that. Now, just as a little note, for those of you that are gluten-free, it does say this in the hints and tips, make sure that the milk that you are using, your milk powder, is gluten-free. I actually checked at the back of this one, and this has soy. There are some allergen warnings for that, so if you are allergic to soy, just make sure that you have a look, or otherwise, if you're gluten-free, check the back of your packet to make sure that you can actually have that product. The other thing that we will be adding is a little pinch of salt, and that's it. It's that simple to make your own condensed milk. Not many ingredients. I will show you, it is a cook time of 3 minutes, and then a process time, so once we add the remainder of these ingredients, for another 30 seconds. And then all you need to do is decant that into your sterilized jars and let that cool down to, well, it says for 30 minutes, not necessarily to room temperature, but you can then twist on the top and pop that in your fridge and store that for 2 weeks. So I think that is such a brilliant thing. If you love having condensed milk in your tea, or perhaps utilizing it in a recipe, this is definitely a way to be able to save some money. And like I say, if you are not able to get to the shops and you're missing that ingredient, it's so easy to make your own. So the next part, as I mentioned before, is adding in the sugar. So it's 180 grams worth of your raw sugar or your white sugar, whatever you have. So having the raw sugar will definitely give you that traditional color that we are so used to seeing with sweetened condensed milk. So that's why it suggests the raw sugar. And then also the next ingredient is 110 grams of the milk powder. So pour that in. Slightly over 120. All right, and then your pinch of salt. So be generous with that. And then what we're going to do is place your lid back on to your machine and then blitz this on speed 10 for 30 seconds. So this will be loud. I won't speak over this, but I want to show you the result. So stick around. It'll say scrape down your sides and pour into a sterilized jar, and then set that aside for 30 minutes so it can cool, and then obviously store inside your fridge once it is finished. So I'm going to show you what this finished result looks like so that you can see. So within 3 minutes and 30 seconds you have yourself some condensed milk. It's such a creamy consistency. Perfect. It's just like having store-bought. I know it's very delicious. I have tried this before when I used to have milk, but a fantastic ingredient to have. You can make this yourself at home. As I say, I will share a video about how to sterilize your jars that you'll be using to store this in your fridge for up to 2 weeks with. So I hope this has helped you and encouraged you to try this little recipe. A couple of moments and you have sweetened condensed milk straight out of your Thermomix. So I am Bea from Thermi Tucker. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.